Well, hello everybody.
Hey, y'all.
She's over here trying to. Don't turn that off. Don't turn that off. It's too hard to get back on. I've got that TV off. Don't turn it off, please.
I did.
Okay. Well, how's everybody? We crossed the 1,000 threshold. I want to thank y'all for sharing our other channel, our 1 million mile road trip. We crossed the 1,000 subscriber threshold. Got 1,006 subscribers, and we're growing. We're still down. We only have 1,500 hours, so we got to get up to 4,000 hours watch time before we get paid for the commercials that YouTube's running on our channel. But with the subscriber count, we will eventually get there. I'm not worried about it. Hope everybody's doing. We're gonna cover a couple of things tonight. These are breaking cases out of one out of Georgia, one out of one out of Savannah, Georgia, and I don't remember where the other one's out of. We'll get to it in a minute. But we do want to remind everybody about this case that we do every time we come on. Michael Vaughn is still missing, believed to be abducted. He is out of Fruitland, Idaho. And if you wonder about this case, go over. There's plenty of stuff to lend to your investigation if you want to. And but they are looking for a subject that was caught on camera, but you can't see any details. We are still, it's been over 40 days since the Jolisa Fontes, I think it is, out of Selma, California. They believe now she is investigated as a criminal matter, possibly an abduction. This is a car that is still missing also. And so I believe they find the car, they find her. There's a $15,000 reward now offered for her. If anybody knows where she's at, this is, there's so much stuff out there. Some type of spirit box lady was on today. And, that, and I'm sorry if we buff. We have not been buffing. I don't know what the problem
crazy.
is.
We have not buffed at all.
Not on any movies we watch or anything. This is the actual missing Dateline missing poster. One thing I did, they had a girl, one of the girls investigating this thing, went to the AMPM, and she said that in that video, she waved at somebody. I've watched that video a bunch of times, and I don't see that. Have any of y'all seen that where it looks like she's waved at somebody? I don't know. Look at it and tell me if I may be wrong. We are still.
Hey,
Maggie.
inside
They are
voice.
still looking for this lady here. She's the one that her car was found with all her belongings inside of it. Texas EchoQuest has checked the river that she's not found so far. She told her husband she was going out for a little bit to get some food, and apparently she went all the way to New Orleans, left all her stuff. I personally think she had some type of mental breakdown, and I'm fixing to show you what the latest news report on this girl is. They have spotted her walking around New Orleans.
New developments tonight in the search for a missing Alvin ISD teacher. EquiSearch releasing this new picture of 48-year-old Michelle Reynolds seen walking in New Orleans last Friday. Her husband says he saw her the day before at home in Alvin. He told investigators she told him she was going to get food and never return. He says he then found her car in New Orleans on Saturday.
Yeah, either she had a boyfriend in New Orleans or she had a breakdown of some sort and just disappeared. I mean, to leave all of your stuff, you definitely do not want to be found for sure.
My glasses are so dirty.
Mine are too. I look like I'm looking through a
Cloud.
cloud or something. The two main cases we want to cover tonight, and I have my own opinions about it, but this is out of an area just southwest of downtown Savannah, Georgia. And we're going to let you, I've got a couple of videos on it, maybe as many as 3. This is the little toddler that's missing, 1-year-old toddler, last seen in the 500 block of Buckhater Halter Drive at 6 a.m. Sesame Street t-shirt and black pants. And the one thing is, her mother said that she last saw the baby in the playpen. Quinton Simon, and the boyfriend claims he saw him in the playpen also. So I don't know. It just seems the FBI is involved in this case also. And I want you to listen to this. This is the grandparents talking about it. And after you hear this, let me know what you think about it.
We both left right then. I got here about 3 o'clock yesterday.
And I got here about 3:30 in the morning.
It's been crazy. I mean, we don't know nothing. Whether it's the answers we want to hear or answers we don't want to hear, we just want to know something. My concern is him, and that's all it is. I mean, we concerned with his well-being.
I know everybody worked really hard yesterday, but
And
I want them to keep working hard.
And we appreciate everything that everybody has done, all the people that's come out and searched for him and all that. And he's always smiling. He's a happy kid. I mean, you get some kids but he always had a big smile on his face, and he was always happy.
Let me ask you, why are you getting emotional?
Because he's not here. He's just a baby, and I want him home. He's just a baby. Leilani's my daughter. She's 22. She hasn't always done the right things, and sometimes she does really great, and sometimes she doesn't. And I don't know what to think right now. I don't know what to believe, because I don't think anybody ever believes that this is going to happen to them. I don't know if I can trust her or if I don't.
I mean,
I just know I'm hurting, and I want this baby home.
We want answers, and we don't have answers.
Just thank you to everybody that's helped.
Thank you for everybody that's looked for him,
and please don't stop looking.
Yeah, like I say, we want answers. We want to find him. That's the answer we want, is somebody found him. You know, we're still hoping and praying, and we wish everybody to pray for him. Pray for us.
Yes.
You know, she says, I don't trust her. And then there's another video that I did not copy that is the grandfather there says, I don't trust her. She's lied to us. She's just a liar. And apparently they've discovered court documents where she was getting evicted. They were living in the grandparents' house, and they got into it over some laundry, believe it or not. And she is in the process of evicting them. So I don't know. It just sounds very, very suspicious. I'm going to play one more here.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
I put on here. I think we're mixing conversations here, guys. I heard the news reporter say, "Why are you getting so emotional?"
Yeah.
To the grandparents,
That's
and
crazy,
I was like, "What kind of question is that? Really? Why are you getting so emotional?" Somebody needed to pop him.
Yeah, no, but let's look
Happening
at this.
right now, the desperate search for a 20-month-old little boy missing since yesterday morning. Take a good look at Quinton Simon. Chatham County Police tell us he was last seen yesterday morning around 6 at his home on Buckhalter Road. The boy's mother told investigators he was in a playpen inside the house before he disappeared. Right now, Chatham County PD searching for Simon by air using a heat-detecting helicopter. Again, the 1-year-old has been missing for nearly 24 hours now. If you have any information about the case, please call 911.
And one last one, and this is, I think, it just really makes you look like the parents are involved. And
the parents and the boyfriend, the mom and the
boyfriend, right? And I want you to listen to this. I hate to throw a bunch of news reports on y'all, but this is one that I think needs to. This is the babysitter, and the babysitter says it keeps them every day, whether they're working or not.
Meanwhile, we are learning more about how this morning played out with this family and the babysitter who was originally supposed to be at this home this morning. News 3 Brian Gallagher also here with me at this scene tonight with those details.
Thank you, Brett. Earlier tonight, I talked with the toddler's babysitter. She is sharing her concerns tonight. It's an interview you will only see on WSAV News 3.
I am been keeping Quinton and Zane for 6 months. I kept them yesterday, and they went home last night.
Diana McCarta says she babysits little Quinton and his siblings and was supposed to watch them this morning. She says she was confused as to why plans would change so suddenly.
I got a text this morning saying that they would not be here. I would not be babysitting them at 5:29, which was kind of odd because I have them even when she doesn't work.
30 minutes later, 6 a.m. was the last reported sighting of Quinton, according to police. Diana says other family members asked her where Quinton might be.
And then I get a text at 9 o'clock saying, have I seen Quinton? I immediately go to their house. I try to help them look. They didn't want that. So I've just been waiting around like everybody else.
Diana and other neighbors are shocked by the news and wonder what could have happened to little Quinton.
My heart is broken. I'm not his mother, I'm not his family, but I love him very much. And I just don't know what could happen. The police did a really good job of looking, and where does a 1-year-old go? They've covered a lot of ground.
Again, we will continue to update you with the latest developments online and tomorrow on WSAV News 3 Today. In Chatham County, Brian Gallagher, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Brian, Brett, thank you for your report tonight, team coverage. Now, if you want to stay updated on the latest developments in this case, you can visit wsav.com/toddler search.
You know, I don't know if the boyfriend is the father or I believe they would have said that. You know, would have said the father, you know, but they said the boyfriend. You know, the FBI today, and here's what I believe. I believe they're going to announce tomorrow a breakthrough. The FBI today and the police department pulled the cell phones of the mother and father, or I mean the boyfriend and the mother, and they're going to go through the cell phones. And they're going to go through any other type of thing. Maybe they'll probably do a, you know, some type of checking for blood in the house with luminol. I'm sure they got a search warrant for the house. I mean, that's just right after you have a toddler missing this way. I don't care if the parents or the mother gave them permission. They probably get a search warrant for the house, and they'll probably use luminol to find out if any blood was around in the house or any cleaning fluid was used around. You know, it's different just putting Clorox on your floor, but if there's a huge amount of Clorox in the house or something, then you might say,
Well, but there may not be blood. They may have just janked him up and, you know, do the shaking of him and all.
Yeah.
So there may not be blood.
May not, but and I would bet they asked them to be polygraphed. I would say they probably asked them to be polygraphed. Whether or not they're going to take a polygraph and, you know, or I don't know, but you know, I know the FBI and the local police have got, even if they suspect the parents may be involved or the mother and the boyfriend, they want to look anyway. They want to find out if they have any shallow graves nearby or wells or anywhere a child could be put after their death. So, and by them using the heat-seeking drone, they could actually see a lot of you know, a lot of things. It depends on how cold the ground is, but there's still a drone, like with thermal imager, you could still see a good bit of stuff. I imagine they will separate them. They were in custody for investigation custody, but I heard a reporter say now that they cannot verify where they are. That the mother and the mother of the child and the boyfriend are right now. So
I'm afraid this is not going to turn out good.
It's not. I don't think. Well, first off, how can a baby by himself
In a playpen
get out of a playpen to start with, and unlock the door, open the door, 1-year-old, and get out of the house and go far?
Okay. What
You
about
know?
the siblings? How many children do they have?
There's
Does it
one
say?
other child, but they're not missing.
But how did it says that? I'm sorry, I've been helping Dad all day. Does it say the age? Ages?
I haven't been able to. You know, they're not talking about the other children. They're only talking about the child that's missing.
Okay.
You know.
Quinton Simon.
Quinton Simon. And like I said, he's out of, show the map again. They're out of Savannah, Georgia, not far from Savannah, the area. And
Chatham.
I don't know.
He's in Chatham County.
Mm-hmm. Chatham County, yeah, I don't know.
20. Well, wait a minute. It says he's 20 months old.
Okay, well,
so he's almost 2.
Yeah, almost 2, but still, could he climb out of a playpen?
Yeah,
by
he
himself?
could. Yes, out of a playpen. Yes, out of a baby bed. Yes, but can he get the door unlocked and open to go outside
without somebody hearing him?
Without, yeah. Well, it depends. Is the siblings, are they old enough to leave the door open? I mean, you know,
I don't
that's
know.
what
Just,
you don't know anything.
Yeah, it sounds, and were the grandparents kind of talking the way they did, I would bet money that it's not going to end good for sure. For sure, it's not a great outcome. I hope we can always hope and pray they will find them, but I don't know, and I don't think the older kids are even up at that time, 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, I don't know. The other case that we want to talk about comes out of
Beach Bum. I tried to find just now on Google the number of children and their ages, but it doesn't say.
They're not saying at all.
No.
This girl right here, Gracie, her name is Alina. She goes by Gracie Mitchem. I think this comes out of Nevada.
California.
Spring Valley, California. This girl right here, it was believed to be groomed online. She was a very shy girl, played on a lot of online games with on the internet that you can play with a lot of other people, and they believed that she was groomed. She left a note saying that she was leaving their house. They do have a GoFundMe page, but I wasn't sure if the GoFundMe page was from the mother and father. You know, people can put up all kinds of stuff. I'm going to show you a news report on this too. They count out and put up flyers for her, but you know, the way they talk was that she just basically was not the type of girl that would go out and meet somebody without knowing them. Very, very shy. But as we know, a lot of these girls like this are when they go on the internet, they can be groomed by somebody and paint a picture of this great life and then get hooked up into human trafficking, or maybe even just get into a situation where they cannot come home because the people that they once were with 1 second, I'm having a little difficult time.
The investigation into the whereabouts of a missing teen from Spring Valley is intensifying.
Tonight, we spoke with the emotional parents of Elena Mitchem, who are desperate for her safe return. CBS 8's Jenny Day joins us live from the newsroom tonight with more on her disappearance. Jenny?
Yeah, good evening. Take a close look at these images. This is 15-year-old Elena Mitchem, who often goes by Grace or Gracie. It's now been 11 days since the Monte Vista student seemingly vanished from her home after telling her parents goodnight. A note was found in her room the next morning saying she was taking off with a woman who helped teenage runaways. The note also stated she wanted to get a job and to not go looking for her. She packed a bag and took her cell phone, laptop, PlayStation, birth certificate, and social security card. But according to her parents, there's been absolutely no online activity since the night of the 22nd. They've said she is shy and a homebody, and they believe someone was grooming her online and lured her outside that night.
I need her face in every news media station, every police station, every truck stop, every anything. If she's out there, Gracie, if you're out there and you can see this, we love you.
Please, baby, come home.
We won't stop.
Yeah, I'm told Mitchem played a lot of games like Apex Legends and Fortnite, where you can talk to strangers online. The Sheriff's Department has confirmed they are investigating this case. She is described as 5'4", 160 pounds, with faded green hair and hazel eyes. Again, she was initially looked at as a runaway, but deputies have amped up the urgency with each passing day. Reporting live in the newsroom, Jenny Day, CBS 8.
And, you know, by her talking to, she don't know who she talked to online. She might even talk to a woman on the phone that told her this, but that just so much sounds like a human trafficking situation. You know, they get her in there with the gonna help you.
Yeah, and they had to get her birth certificate and her.
Oh, they got everything
yeah.
now. They can probably fake. They can turn it into whatever they want to. She can. They could ship her overseas for that matter. I mean, get her a passport under a different name, whatever, or even their true name. Of course, you'll be able to find out. But I think about this. You can walk. I think you can walk across the border in Mexico, in like some places, and you don't have to even have a passport. You just have a driver's license.
What about if the parents or somebody had the money for the geo fencing?
Well, I mean that is still to say. It costs so much to do that privately. Maybe, but they would just have hers. You know, she would have to know how far she walked, or did she walk down to take a train? Did somebody pick her up? Did they have a cell phone in the car? There's just so much stuff with that. And, you know, what I would do if I was somebody, I would get online, have some people play these games and see if they can pick her up, because she's been doing that all along. It'd be hard to believe that she could just stop doing that overnight unless they get her into a human trafficking situation. They drug her up, get her addicted to some type of drug, you know, shoot her up with heroin or fentanyl or meth, and get her where she's got to have it, and then they can control her. That's what they basically did in a bunch of stuff. Yeah, where they actually got a girl in, and they basically forced her to take shots of heroin until she was addicted, and she had to have it.
Well, and they also tied her to a bed, and
they did a lot of stuff to her. But you know, it's just a very, very sad situation. There's no doubt in my mind that this girl was is being trafficked, because of the fact is that, you know, you got some woman on there says she's a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
You can say anything behind the computer. No, you don't know who you're talking to, and she could have said, "I'm a woman." She could have talked to a girl online. I mean, on her phone, and it'd be a madam,
or another girl that's been groomed, and
or a person involved, because you know, the idea of they sell basically other human beings as slaves. They sell them to somebody as a sex slave or whatever. I mean, this world, I tell you what, it is cold hearted. There's some evil, evil, evil people out in this world. And
we have no idea how. You know more than I do.
I've seen a lot of stuff and talked to a lot of girls involved. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna show you how bad just plain life is, with the people want to scam you. You know how you get scammed. I put some camera equipment online on Facebook Marketplace the other day, and I had about 20 people try to scam me out of money and my equipment too in less than 4 days. About 20 tried to scam me. And I'm going to show you something I had to put on my ad. And this is something you may want to do if you sell something online, is kind of word it the way you want to. But this is what I put up. And after every person read this, they canceled their trying to scam me. And this is what I put up, and every one of them, after they'd all send me a thing saying, is the stuff available? I'll send you shipping, $150 more than you want shipping, and I want all this. Well, I just posted this thing, and it basically says, because of all the scumbag, worthless scammers, the following is required before shipping and are non-negotiable: driver's license with shipping address visible, complete name as visible on the driver's license, and an active Facebook account. And I said, this is non-negotiable. However, you can pick up the equipment and pay cash for it at any time. And after I posted this on the ad, every one of these scammers decided they didn't want to talk to me anymore.
But going back to your experience,
yes,
because you worked that
right, the predator
to catch a predator,
thing, right,
and you pretended to be a 13-year-old girl,
right,
and yet you talked to men who thought that you were a 13-year-old girl.
absolutely.
How easy is it to turn it around?
Yeah, and the way we did was we took pictures of young 18, 19-year-old Russian girls that had their pictures on the web out there. They already put their stuff out there. And we just took the one picture, the looking on, face on. And these guys were like 40, 50, 60 years old, thinking that they were going to take this, what they thought was a young girl, they would take them away from their family. You know, use certain methods to kidnap them, basically. But they wouldn't use the word kidnapping. They would say, you know, you can come live with me. You have your own room. You have all this stuff. You can have all this. You can do what you want to do. You're free from your parents telling you what you can do. And hey, you can go back anytime you want to. That was never the case. I mean, we caught these men out there. They had rape kits in their cars. They had all kinds of stuff. And what we're talking about, rape kits, they had, one guy had duct tape in a grocery sack. He had duct tape, disposable cameras, zip ties, condoms, lubrication.
Where's he going to get the disposable cameras developed?
Well, I'm sure they have them sites that would be, these pedophile sites can do it for them, and they can even have people that can develop their color cameras.
And he caught one guy who came to the city that we lived in at the time, who brought
yeah, we were doing a news report on it, had a news reporter with me. So, you know, that girl, there's no doubt in my mind that she is under control of somebody else for sure. And I hate it. I really do. One other thing I do want to mention, the other minor that we were talking about, the toddler. Let me see.
It was up there.
No, I know the toddler. I had a partial video where they interviewed the sheriff, and I can't play the whole thing. It's like 9 minutes long, but I wanted to play a few minutes into it. This was taken about 6 hours ago, where they're still talking to it. But I'm gonna play a little bit of this and let you hear it. Now, this is concerning the toddler. I know we're kind of switching back around, but I did want to let
This
you
is for
hear
Quinton.
this. For Quinton Simon. Well, if it'll come on.
Good. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Chief Jeff Alley with the Chatham County Police Department, and we wanted to provide everyone with an update to the extent that we can on the missing Quinton Simon. We have yet to locate little Quinton. We continue to investigate this incident. We've got some assistance from the FBI. We got numerous interviews to conduct today, as well as downloading phones and things of that nature to try to bring this case to a conclusion. It still remains a missing child investigation at this point until we reach a different conclusion based on any evidence that we may find or any updates or developments that we may occur here today. Just to kind of recap what we have done, as you know, we had aviation out here yesterday all day, or half of the day, providing air support. We had mounted patrol from Savannah Police Department, which we sincerely appreciate. We had SEMA and the volunteers doing a grid search, an area search, looking for little Quinton. And as of this morning, we still have yet to locate him. So a lot of work to do. Our investigators are working extremely hard. They were here till 2 o'clock in the morning this morning, and then came back in at 8 o'clock for a briefing, and are out here this morning continuing to investigate. So that is unfortunately all the update, substantive update that we have here this morning. I'd be happy to answer a few questions that you may have, and we'll go from there. So.
Chief, is foul play suspected at all in this disappearance?
As of this time, we have not had any evidence to lead us to believe foul play, but everything's on the table, honestly. So we're looking at this from many different angles. We're getting all the technology that we can, looking for cameras that were in the area, things of that nature. So, but as of this interview, we don't have anything of substance that would lead us to believe that. It's still a missing child investigation.
Do you know why it took 3 hours to report the child missing?
I don't know it took 3 hours to report to the police. I haven't gotten into that level of detail when the mother noticed the child was missing. The only information that I have is that the boyfriend woke up, saw the child at 6 a.m. The mother woke up at some other time later and then reported the child missing at 9:39. I believe the call came into 911. So the time difference and whatnot, I'm not privy to that level of detail at this second.
From what I understand, much of the morning, specifically when it did start getting light out, police weren't out there. Only recently now police are. So why wait, in those precious hours of daylight in the morning to have police out there?
Please restate your question. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What I understood from a reporter on scene, one of our reporters, there was much of daylight time this morning where police weren't out there. It kind of took a little bit. Can you kind of explain?
This morning?
Yeah.
So, well, we had conducted our area grid search yesterday. So we didn't believe that we had exhausted that geographic area where we felt perhaps if he wandered away that he would be in that area. So we wanted to regroup this morning. We were out till 2 o'clock in the morning. Now we're narrowing it down to other small geographic areas, seeing if that would yield finding Quinton. So we just felt that we had exhausted all of our geographic coverage area with what we did yesterday with the aviation, with the mounted patrol, with our drone, and we didn't feel that that would yield anything to be back at that exact location this morning.
How are the parents doing at this point from your perspective?
Well, I haven't talked to them personally. Obviously, they have been working with our detectives. I can only assume that they're, at this point, they're victims. They are dealing with the loss of a child. They're worrying and wondering where he may be at. And so, as any of us, if we were in that position, I would be terrified. Having 6 children of my own, if one of my children were missing, I'd be a mess, quite frankly.
And then follow up to that, does Quinton have any siblings? Are there any other brothers or sisters?
I believe there is an older sibling, maybe a year older or so. I think it's a boy, but I'm not 100% sure.
Chief, so the FBI was there yesterday to help. Is that customary, or were there certain aspects of the case that they thought it was necessary for them to come in, and will they continue to help with the investigation?
They will continue to help with the investigation. In this type, because it's a missing child, but there's also a potential it could have been abducted. Obviously, that falls within their wheelhouse. They're a great organization to work with. They have an enormous amount of resources that necessarily local law enforcement doesn't have, and their willingness to step in, provide additional manpower, as well as the resources that they have, which it is welcomed beyond belief. So, but because it's a missing and could be an abducted child, that's where it falls within their wheelhouse.
Do you believe Quinton to still be alive?
I hope he's still alive. We don't know. We don't have any information to believe he's not. But statistically, we know, how these cases may end up. So we're going to hold out hope that he's still alive, that we can find him and bring him home safe to his parents. But we'll continue to look at all angles and exhaust all investigative avenues.
What would be the indicators that would push it into an abduction? Like, what would be sort of the cases or the evidence you would need for it to go into an abduction type of investigation? Is there something?
Well, if we received some tip from the community that was substantive, that we could verify, that would lead us to that conclusion. If there was any type of video evidence or cell phone evidence that would lead us to believe in that that it would be that. So that would is what that would be. And let me say, I'm sorry I didn't mention, if anyone has information on Quinton Simon's disappearance, they can get on Chatham County Police.
That babysitter, I think Dina commented on that. The babysitter saying that she got a text at 5:29, yet the boyfriend just remembers seeing him in the crib at 6. Well, that's not totally a misnomer. I mean, he may have thought. I mean, it's like I'll be honest with you, Dina just about every morning gets me up at daylight or before daylight to let the dogs out and to do their business. So I have to get up. And she stays in bed, and I let the dogs out. And the other morning, she told me, you got up kind of early this morning with the dogs. And I said, I did. I didn't even remember it. It was before daylight. I do remember before daylight with the dogs, but I couldn't tell you what time it was. I just knew the sun was not up,
But somebody texted the babysitter at 5:29 a.m.
Right.
So somebody was awake enough to text the babysitter and say, "We don't need you."
Yeah, that
right
think,
there.
And I don't understand why that's. I mean, it's reported on the news. They may be addressing that. They may be addressing that. But so obviously, I think whatever happened with that baby happened during the night.
Yeah, it happened during the
night.
Before 5:30 a.m.
Whether a lot of times when they have a child, and I'm not saying, we're not accusing the family of doing anything to the child, but a lot of times if something happens out of anger or whatever, or an accident, SIDS, anything could be, then they may panic And instead of, you know, if they found the baby choked or anything, I'm just saying, I'm throwing a lot of stuff out there. If they had an accidental death of the child, fearing that they may go to jail because they didn't report it right away or whatever, they could actually do something with the body then, you know, or if something bad happened and they did something with the body, or, you know, it's just a whole lot of things. I mean, the grandparents have said she lies.
Now, I misunderstood that. It's
You know.
were the grandparents that we listened to, was that her parents?
Yes.
So that's the mother's parents.
That's
that
what
saying,
I understand. Okay. And they actually had another interview that I did not copy, where the grandfather said, I don't believe anything she's saying. She lies. That's what he said. So, you know.
And Gail's question is, why do you have a babysitter all the time?
Yeah, I could see having one if they work. They have to have a babysitter. A lot of people have a babysitter for their work. But she said, I have them usually when they're even not working. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of jobs they would have to be able to afford somebody 24, you know, just about every single day. But, you know.
Well,
I don't know. It's a bad thing.
I have a feeling.
And I got a feeling it's not going to be good. The chief even indicated, if you listen to him very carefully, he said, we have got a lot of different, we're going about this a lot of different ways. So
we should have an update tomorrow.
I really feel like that they may polygraph the parents. They need to ask them at least, will you take a polygraph? And if they do, and then if they pass the polygraph, then they can go in a different direction. But if they don't pass the polygraph, then that's when you investigators, you know, put the heat on them. I actually saw a case that I was looking at, just reading today, a bunch of cases, and there's a guy on death row in Alabama. He shot and killed 5 people up just right down the road from us. I think a couple years back, him and his wife, one of his wives, and they actually gave him the death penalty, and then she got life without parole, which that may be what they do. You know, they may go and say, go to the wife, the mother, and say, you know, play one against the other. And I read Jaguar, I can tell you about that. It's you know, when they take them in there and they try to get one of them to flip, and then, you know, they may go back to the other one. They switch up and say, oh, well, we already know the story. If you want to, you know, clear things up for us, you know, and try to play one against the other.
Somebody's going to get the better deal.
Somebody's going to get the better deal. Yeah. Yeah. The grandparents did seem very, very scared. But that reporter, that was the stupidest question I've ever heard a reporter ask. Why are you so upset?
Why are you so emotional?
Yeah, emotional. Listen, if I had a grandson, or even my son or daughter was missing, and you know, I'd say, what do you think I'm so upset for? You know, they're missing. That's about the stupidest thing I ever heard a reporter say. It's absolutely, you know, it makes me want to, you know, slap him or something. I mean, just this stupid. That was just stupid. I mean, I've heard reporters say stupid stuff. But that was absolutely stupid.
Hey, so wonder, was there any, in all you read and all, was there any reporting of DPS ever being called at the house?
No, the only thing that they did have they looked at the going back, this one investigative thing, and the only thing that they found right off was that they had a court order eviction right there. Now, they're not going to be able to get records of DPS going to the house because that is considered to be privileged. If they arrest one of them, then maybe, or if they had somebody leak it to them. But usually cases involving kids or Department of Human Resources or anything like that, you're not going to be able to get. Not without a subpoena anyway.
Okay, listen, this is exactly what the babysitter said, okay? She says, I've been keeping Quinton and Zane for 6 months. I kept them yesterday, and they went home last night. McCarty said she babysits little Quinton and his sibling and was supposed to watch them this morning, the morning he went missing. She told the news channel she was confused as to why plans had changed. I got a text this morning saying they would not be here, would not be babysitting them at 5:29 a.m., which is kind of odd because I have them even when she doesn't work. 30 minutes later at 6 a.m. was the last reported sighting, according to the police, and it was by the boyfriend.
Yeah, but why does she look at her watch and say 5:29?
I know. Well, the text came in. Well, the text
she's
came
looking
in.
at her text.
She's looking at her text. But it says, and then I get a text at 9 a.m. saying, have I seen Quinton? And I immediately go to their house and try to help them look. They didn't want that. So I've been just waiting like everyone else. So they text her at 9 a.m. Maggie, they text her at 9 a.m.
Yeah, well, she said I got a text. It didn't say from them.
No, well, she said they text her at 9 a.m. asking if she had seen Quinton.
Like he would escape and go to her house.
Stop.
You know?
It's probably an armadillo. Maggie saw an armadillo out there the other night and started barking like crazy. Leave it alone, Maggie. Yeah, she said, what she said was, and then I get a text at 9 a.m. saying, have I seen Quinton? I immediately go to their house and try to help them look, but they didn't want that.
Yeah, I guess they wanted her not to be there. You know, they're trying to take her out of the picture of the police. I'm sure the police will interview her after that. I don't know. I'm like, though, I believe, like most of you say, I believe that something's going to break in this case within the next probably 12 to 24 hours.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
You know, they're going to find it's just too much, especially when that news reporter interviewed the babysitter
and the grandparents.
And the
grandparents don't believe them either. So.
Yeah. So, you know, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to come out. It's going to be a good ending. The other case that we talked about too, you know, that unfortunately, it may never be solved. I hope it will be, but by her carrying all that paperwork, Social Security card, birth certificate,
put her picture back.
You know, up that that is very, very bad. And
look how cute she is, y'all. A beautiful 15-year-old girl, and she walks away to go meet a lady she met online.
Yeah, that it doesn't make any sense. But you know, it could be she said that, but she's going to meet a guy.
Right.
You know, somebody that groomed her. I would take it a grain of salt what she said in her message about that she just wanted to go somewhere and work. You know, I would more or less think that she wanted to meet a guy, but that we don't know actually who the guy is, how old he is. And I'm wondering if she took her PlayStation or her computer with her. If they didn't, then of course police can get, because all of these PlayStations and stuff have hard drives in them, and they can, you know, they can get back. They can subpoena the phone records, subpoena the text messages, a number of things like that. And I'm sure they would be doing that because this case is, you know, it's wide open. 11 days, basically, she's been missing. It's going to take a while for them to get information. If she took her gaming system with her, of course they're not going to be able to get anything off of that if she took it with her, and who knows.
Jaguar says nowadays you can't assume it's a guy even at that age. That's true.
That's true. And we had, during our operation we did, that child predator operation, we actually arrested 2 females in there, where the females were trying to entice what they thought were 14-year-old females. So, could be. And, I hope that they will, if she doesn't, if she's not found quickly, I'm hoping they will put her on the side of one of these trucks.
Yeah.
And I really hope she did not take her PlayStation platform stuff with her, because they can go in and find out everything on that PlayStation. When we had our thing going, we used the Secret Service to dissect all of our equipment, and they had a large operational center in Alabama. They have a huge operational center. They work out of Birmingham, Alabama, Hoover actually, and then the Secret Service does a lot of the dissecting of these machines, and they can find out everything. They can print it out just like on a
TS
sheet,
TS, yes, it's like a diagnostic. They can just print it out on a sheet. They know.
What they do normally is they'll put it on a CD, and it'll have every chat message that you put out. It'll have the IP addresses of that between the contacts. The person that they contact, their IP address. They'll have so much information that they can get off of that. And they can do it just on the computer. They can do it on anything. But the problem is, if they seize her phone, a lot of times
they just throw those in the garbage.
Well, if they seize their phone, say, and they don't have the password, good luck in getting in there, because Facebook or a lot of Google and all that will not open phones for law enforcement. So it's really a battle to get inside those phones. You almost have to have a life and death emergency, and then even that they won't do it. They've had this been tested in court, and they just refuse to do it. But now
that's so sad.
They do have some. The FBI and Secret Service does have other methods. And I believe now they are able to sometimes crack into these phones. I hope they do anyway, because in this case, I'm afraid, it's 11 days out now. She could be anywhere in the nation. She could be put into prostitution. She could be put into anything. So if you can, I'll try to put one of these pictures over there on our community page, but take it and copy it and send it out on your social media.
Yeah.
Because this girl needs to be found quickly. And the little toddler, I say, I don't really believe that it's going to do much good by sharing it, the toddler's picture, because let's just say the worst case scenario, this toddler did get out of the house and did wander around. How long do you think that toddler is going to be able to survive walking around without being seen, found, or I believe, unfortunately, it's not going to be.
Because of the babysitter and the grandparents.
Yeah, and
I just think we're looking for a body.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think so too. But let's really try to put out about Gracie, and like I said, I'll put it on our community page. And again, I want to thank y'all for sharing our other page. And we hope that you will continue to do that for our page and for Red Jaguar's page too. We all need as many subs as we can get.
Beach Bum said that the text is going to be their undoing.
I think so too. I
don't think they can get. I don't know what they were thinking when they sent it out. Maybe it would keep her away for a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, I think that's going to be the thing that's going to be their undoing.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard today on the news. There was a couple. I think it happened out in Nevada. I'm not sure exactly where. It was a couple. There was a man, woman, and a small child that were kidnapped, and then they end up catching the guy that kidnapped them. They found their bodies today. All of them were dead, killed, all of them.
Why you kill a 1-year-old baby?
I don't know.
Because the baby can't identify you.
I don't know. They killed them all.
If
Also,
Jesus don't come back soon, I don't know what's going to happen.
Also, President Biden pardoned all federal people that have been convicted of small amounts of marijuana, just simple marijuana possessions, and then under the federal system. He did that today. He pardoned them all. And
how many is that going to be?
A bunch. It'll be in the system, and also that have been released from the system. We're not talking about traffickers. We're talking about people that have been with just simple possession, like might be felony possession, might be a pound or 2 or 3 pounds or whatever. I don't know. I didn't read the bill, but it came out on Night in the News tonight. He's pardoned everybody that's ever been convicted in the federal system of simple possession of marijuana. And what that is, they feel like tonight that is the first step for federally decriminalization of marijuana federally, on the federally level. And he asked all governors to do the same. And if it did in most states, it would move about 60% of their prisoners out. It would instead of being more prisons, it would actually let them go, And Alabama is considered like part of the Bible Belt, and it's been anti-drugs for as long as you can say anything. But they passed the medical marijuana bill in Alabama.
Red Jaguar says it's 22,000 offenders.
Wow. It's gonna, here's my thing about this, and I worked drugs for like almost 20 years, okay?
Longer than
that. And ran, was in charge of a little drug unit at the time we had down there. If it's medical marijuana or it can be used for medical marijuana, I'm all for it. People to take it for to relieve nausea, for cancer patients, for treat a lot of different things. Medically, I don't have a bit of problem with it. To test it, and they may still. I've been out of police work now since early 2000s, 2012, I think it was my last when I got out. But they're going to have to do something to check for DUI, because driving stoned is just as bad as driving drunk. And, but this is the way it is. I personally don't think that you can have like Colorado and Michigan and Illinois and stuff to be completely legal marijuana and then arrest somebody in the next state and put them in prison forever and stuff like that. I just don't. If you're going to legalize it in one state, you might as well just legalize it everywhere. But they need to make sure the kids don't get it, and they need to make sure that they don't have drinking stoned, or driving stoned, whatever.
Beach Bun says, yep, DWI in Texas, regardless of the substance.
Yeah, I just don't know how you test it. How you going to test? Because before, when we used to
smell it.
Well, no, if we stop somebody on the side of the road and they're impaired, okay, and then they open up their mouth, and if their tongue's green, we knew they smoked marijuana. But that's just how it was.
tongue turn green?
Tongue would be green if smoked, or they'll do what they call horizontal nystagmus test on your eyes, and if your eyes act a certain way, if your eyes wet, all right, listen, if you drink a lot and they give you a horizontal nystagmus test, it'll make your eyes will be shaky, and the closer they are to center and they shake, according to this test, the higher volume of alcohol you have in your system. If they move up and down, it's a classic sign of taking drugs.
But just tell them stick out their tongue.
Well, it can make their tongue a slight greenish tint if you smoke marijuana in the last little while. I just know that.
Yeah.
I've seen it, so that's what I'm saying.
Well, I ain't never smoked no marijuana.
But anyway, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the legalization and what happens. We're buffing a little bit. Homicide in Alabama, if you're convicted and it's not aggravated, 30 years. That's what you'll get.
TS.
Between 20 and 30 years sentence.
TS says, what if you have vertigo? You're in trouble.
Yeah. I know that a guy that we know that's a very close friend of ours, one of his sons got into trouble, and he was involved in a guy got killed in the thing. I'm not sure if he was found guilty of murder. From all I heard about it, it might have been not quite murder, but that's what he was convicted of, and he got 30 years, first time offense. So, but then again, I know another person that was sentenced for murder, 25 years. So you don't know. It's somewhere between 20 and 30, depending on how aggravated you are, how aggravated it is. You get it. Alabama has what they call good time law, but it does not apply if you got over 25 years in prison, or 20 years, I think it is. If it's under, or maybe 15, I don't know exactly. I'd have to look that up. But if you have over a certain amount of years, and I think it's 20, then good time cannot apply. And under good time law, you could actually get out and up to half your sentence, or or you only have to serve a 30-year sentence. But mostly, you only have to serve a third if you get good time. But if you got 20, 25 years, we don't have what you call the 85% law. I've heard that 85% law applies in some cases. I saw where a school shooter, I watched a little bit of that today, a sentencing on a school shooter on one of the channels I was watching, and they gave him 25 years in prison. He had to do 85%, but he had over 1,000 days that he'd been in the county jail, so they gave him credit for time served. So he's basically going to serve about 22 years in prison. But he's like probably 18 years old, so he would be out when he's 30.
You know what scares me about the 22,000 being released? You know what scares me about it? That they've been in prison. So did prison make them worse?
Well, when a child is arrested and put in juvenile detention, you are thought you're going to help them rehabilitate. But when a man goes to prison, it is not for rehabilitation, it is for punishment. So I've always heard
Red
they get
Jaguar
sentenced,
said,
but the board and the legal system sets them free if they act right inside. You're exactly right. And I know the federal system used to you could get, it was more lenient. I mean, I heard people not doing their whole time, but now I think the federal
Bye,
system
y'all. I
is
gotta go
day for day.
fix supper for my dad.
If it's not, I think it's,
He eats late.
I think it's day for day. If maybe somebody can correct me or not. But
I'll see you in a few minutes.
yeah, okay. Florida, you do all the for murder first degree, no time reduced. Wow. But you know what they'll do is and I saw this today when I was looking at these cases, and some people that I had been involved and put in prison, I was just trying to look them up, find out if they were still in prison. And I noticed while I was doing that, this one girl that she got life without parole, was in a medium prison. And I wondered about that, because a lot of times the people that kill people, like they a fit of rage or they kill something, they'll put them in a minimum secure prison because they don't feel like they're going to kill anybody else. They did this maybe out of you know what I'm talking about. It was a spur of the moment. But now if the guy plans it out, he plans it, he's all this stuff, they're not going to put him in there. Somebody that is meticulous, or they got a serial killer they're looking for, I think in California. He shot, I don't know how many, 8 or 10 people, killed them, and they still don't know who he is. He'll walk up and boom. Yeah, crime of passion. Thank you, TS. That's what I was trying to think of. Those people are probably never going to kill again. It was one of these one-time things. They did it. Still going to do their time, but they'll do it in a minimum security prison where they're not considered to be a continuing threat. The serial killer in California, I don't even think they have any idea. They know it's a male. They don't know race or anything. But he's killed, I want to say probably 10 people. I don't know, a bunch of them. They also had another thing. Yeah, you're right, Beach Bum. You're exactly right. They can't handle anger. But I'm just talking about what kind of prison time they're going to do. I know that and this is an awful thing. They had I think it was in Thailand. I'm not sure. It was on the national news tonight. They had a former police officer went to the daycare where his child was supposed to be, tried to get to his child. His child wasn't there, went into a rage, got a big knife, and went in there and killed about 20 kids, killed 8 or 9 adults, then went back to his own house and killed I want to say his mother and one other person, and then kills himself. But talking about a rage, that's a rage. But why it was somewhere in Thailand or I think it was Thailand. Yeah, it was awful. It was I couldn't believe it. I mean, why kill all these kids? I mean, they were sleeping in this daycare, and he went in and with a knife and killed, like, I want to say 20 something kids. He killed the people inside there, and or maybe it was with a gun. I don't know, but I remember it was, yeah, I think it was with a gun, because I remember one of the ladies said he ran out of ammo, and as he was reloading ammo, Thailand, that she started praying in front of him, and for whatever reason he changed his mind. But he killed, I want to say 20 something people. I don't know. It's, that is just evil. That is evil. Yeah, absolutely, Red Jaguar. Absolutely pure mental illness and evil. He apparently had a rage about something, and when he couldn't find his own child, he just went off, you know, and you see that a lot. You see that they kill, like we had a young boy less than 20 miles from where we are right now. He got mad because they told him he couldn't play one of his games on TV, and he killed his mother, his father, his grandmother, his grandfather, and his brother and sister or something. Killed like 6 or 7 people. Just went off, just killed them all, everybody in the whole house. And then he calls the police and told him what he did. Come get him. You know, I mean, of course, if I remember right, they tried him as an adult and they sentenced him to life without parole in prison. And that's where he'll be the rest of his life because he doesn't need to be out. People like that, you know, they just really don't need to be out. And, you know, I really hate to see anybody. I mean, we had an officer that did some things when, like 10 years ago he apparently molested his, wife's or some of his family members, and 10 years passed and nobody knew anything about it. And all of a sudden these kids, I guess through their therapists or, you know, going through things, they went and told the DA about it, and he was brought in, and he absolutely ended up gave him 20 years, then another 20 years, and another 20 years, and another 10 years. But instead of running them consecutive where he could be out in like 23 years, he ran it consecutive. I'm sorry it's buffing in. I don't know why. Like I said, it doesn't do this when we're not online. So I don't know. I'm going to try to solve that problem somewhere down the line for sure. All right, listen. I appreciate everybody coming tonight. We love you. We really do. Support Red Jaguar's channel. Let's get him over 1,000 subs also. We appreciate you boosting us up there too. Share our channels. We sure would appreciate it. Hope to see you next time, and we'll see you always on our other channel, the 1 Million Mile Road Trip, on Wednesdays and Sundays. And we got some things coming up you're just not going to believe what's happened now. So God bless y'all, and we will see you next time. And please continue to follow us. We do appreciate it a lot. God bless you. We love you. Good night.